What's up YouTube? This is your average Joe back with another average video. Today we've got the full review for the Google Nexus 6. Now, I've been using this phone for quite a while now. I've had it for probably almost a month, so I've got a lot of good usage out of it. And on a scale of 1 to 10, you really can't put numbers on these things, right? But on a scale of 1 to 10, this is probably an 8 or a 9 as far as phones go. And I'll talk about a lot of different things, pros and cons, about why you should or should not buy this phone depending on who you are and how big your hands are, right? There are several different things that make this phone amazing, but that also may make it not as amazing for certain people. So I want to talk about the cons first. First of all, the battery life is really not that great. It can get me through a day, but I work at 6 in the morning, so I'm up at 5:30, and by 5 or 6 in the afternoon, it's already running out of battery. Now, I can use battery saver all day, right? And there are certain things that I can do to make it last, but I'd really rather not have to, right? It's a huge phone. You'd think they would have been able to fit a bigger battery into a giant phone like this, but they didn't. And granted, it's pushing 1440p. It's a big screen, so it's got a lot of pixels to push. But even then, the battery is just really not that great for it. So that's one thing that I don't like as much about the phone. Now, being a Nexus device, I don't know why Google decides to not give it any OTG support. I've got this little stick. I don't even know what to call it. It's just a little micro USB. You plug it in, you transfer files, and then you grab this and you plug this end into your computer. Super useful because this doesn't have a micro SD card slot, so no expandable storage. That would grant me expandable storage, but Google doesn't even support it, so I have to root it and install stick mount and whatever else to be able to even transfer files besides just plugging in a cable and plugging it into my computer, which is a pain. So that's one thing I really don't like. And also, I don't know why, I talked about this in my unboxing, Google decides to put these upside down. That's a super small thing, but all of my cables, I'm used to putting them in one way, and then I have to flip it over anyway. I wish they had put USB-C on this. I'm glad that they're finally going to make that switch because it is reversible. Not a huge problem again, right? But still just kind of annoying. I've ruined a couple of cables with trying to shove it in the wrong way in the dark and can't see. Anyway, so that's one little thing. This being such a big phone, you can't use it with one hand. Trying to text and reach across the screen, it doesn't matter which hand you're using, it's got a slippery back, so unless you're using like a really grippy case, it's gonna fall out of your hand. It's asking to be dropped on the sidewalk, right? It's wonderful, right? I like the space, but it's very slippery, and it's a fingerprint magnet. I don't know if you can see. It collects fingerprints like nothing else. So I've always got my little microfiber cloth. I'm always I wouldn't call myself OCD, but I hate looking at fingerprints all day, and that kind of bugs me. So that's another con. As far as that goes, I think that's most of the cons. The camera is not great in low light. I'll talk a little bit more about the camera with the pros, because it really is good, and it's got a good sensor. It's quick, but in low light it sucks. If you're at a concert or a party or something and you're in the dark, it's just terrible. They come out grainy, and they're just really not that great. So I guess we'll talk about the pros now. So speaking of the camera, it really is quick. Again, it's just the stock Google camera, right? So it's really, see if we can get a picture here. It's quick, right? It takes as many pictures as you want, super quick. The panorama on this is amazing. I went camping just the other day. Let me show you this picture that I took. It was just normal resolution, but it took the most amazing panorama. I was on this island out in the middle of a lake, and I took a panorama around the entire island, and I'm already on rotate. Let me just zoom into this. And at first it was kind of grainy, so I was worried that it didn't take a very good resolution picture, but once it kind of focuses, this is great. It's so amazing. Here's my little brother. Anyway, panorama is really cool. Photosphere I haven't played around with very much, but I've seen them and they're really cool. And then I haven't played around with lens blur. Video camera is really great. It records in 4K, and I love that. I know this camera's got the capabilities, the hardware for it. I wish they had given me 60 frames per second, at least in 1080p. It doesn't have the option to do that. Now that YouTube supports 60 frames per second, I would love to record stuff in 60 FPS and watch it in slow-mo, or just the higher bit rate, or what do we call that? So that's a bummer. No 60 frames per second. Let's see, what else? Lots of RAM, lots of storage. It's got 3 gigabytes of RAM, so I'm hardly ever pressed for RAM. It's got great response, right? It's not slow at all. I play Goat Simulator on this. It runs just fine. It gets a little warm, right? But that's expected. And then the storage on this thing is absolutely beautiful. 54.64 gigabytes of free storage on this thing that you can fill up with whatever the heck you want. So that's great. That kind of overrides the not having a micro SD card slot, because 64 gigabytes, that's going to be enough, right? Unless I'm recording every day in 4K, which I may or may not do. And then there's no bloatware. I mean, granted, I don't use some of the Google apps, right? I disabled the little email app. I don't even know why they have that still. I disabled Earth because I don't use that. But other than that, I mean, there's no bloatware at all. I got this through T-Mobile, and T-Mobile, I don't know how they do this, but every time when I booted the phone, it installed the T-Mobile My Account app or whatever, but it was uninstallable. So that's cool, right? I can uninstall that. Yeah, so no bloatware. That's really, really enjoyable. I actually have rooted the device, so I've got Super SU on here. I've got a couple of the root apps, because I enjoy a lot of the things that root can give me. And I'll talk about that a little bit more in my Lollipop video. Most of them are tweaks with Android Lollipop and issues that I have with Android Lollipop. So keep an eye out for that video. I'll be putting that up in the next couple weeks. Well, hopefully this week. I don't really know. I'm working full-time and have a wife and a baby, and so I don't have a ton of time. But anyway, when I get that up, I'll let you guys know all of the gripes that I have about Android Lollipop, first and foremost of them being no silent mode, right? Anyway, you guys know all about that. So, just a couple more pros with this phone. The quick charging, the turbocharging is absolutely amazing. And I've actually got a couple cords here. I don't know if you guys have ever heard of the app Ampere. It shows you how much your device is discharging, and then when you plug it in, it shows you how much it's charging. So I've got just a generic charger here that I've got from some other phone that's probably just 1 or 2 amps, and then I've got my Motorola turbocharger that's up to 9 volts, I think. Anyway, I'm gonna plug those in and show you how much of a difference it is. So here's just a generic charger. We're gonna plug it in, and it's gonna measure here how much it's charging. So there you go. Okay, so 1210 milliamps. Now that's pretty quick, quite honestly. With that many milliamps, it's gonna charge your phone within maybe 2 or 3 hours, maybe 4. Depending on how big your battery is. This has got a bigger battery, so it might take a little longer. Now we're going to plug in the Motorola turbocharger. This is the stock charger that came with the phone. I'm going to plug this in and see how much of a difference it makes. So it's going to measure it again. Check it out. So literally twice as fast. It's charging this phone twice as fast as it would normally. And I've played around with this turbocharging. They say 15 minutes gives you another, I don't know, 8 hours of battery life. I don't know if I would say 8 hours, but it really does charge it quick. In fact, I had it at work the other day, and I depleted the battery completely somehow by the end of my shift. And in just the last hour, I plugged in my phone with this turbocharger, and I had it back up to like 80% by the end of the day, or by the end of the shift. So it really is a quick charge, and I'm loving that. The other cool feature is wireless charging. Now, I don't have a wireless charger to test to show you guys this. The only wireless charger I have actually is the one that came with my Moto 360. That doesn't work with this. Obviously, it can't really fit on the little dock. But the wireless charging works. I've tested it out. I went to Best Buy and tried it out on one of their little Galaxy S6 chargers. It totally works. The wireless charging works great. And I haven't tested it to see how fast it is. I'm sure it's not as quick as the turbocharging, but that's super convenient. You know, you come home, you throw your phone on the charger, and you forget about it. You don't have to mess with the stupid USB cable. That's probably what I need to do because of their stupid upside down USB port. Anyway, so that's really nice. That kind of remedies the battery problem, right? It runs out quick, but you can charge it even quicker. So that's really nice. Yeah, so that's basically all the pros and cons that I've got about this. It's very seamless. I love Nexus devices. This is the first that I've actually owned. Before this, I had a Moto X that is almost Nexus. It's got some Motorola apps and some other tweaks that I didn't really like as much as just a stock Nexus device. And before that, I had the S4, but I did root it and put CyanogenMod 10 on it, or maybe it was 11, and that pretty much made it like a Google Play Edition device, which I really enjoyed. I'm a sucker for stock Android. A lot of you guys out there probably are. Nobody likes the stupid skins that Samsung or LG puts on their devices to just slow them down. In fact, if we go to Clean Master, this is what I use to clear my RAM, because that's another stupid Android 5.0 thing. You can't clear all, right? If you want to clear all your apps, you have to sit here swiping away for 10 minutes, you know, trying to get everything swiped out. Anyway, so if we go here and where is it? Phone boost? No, that's not it. Where's it at? Go back. Oh, no, me. No, home. What the heck? Oh, there we go. RAM. I'm sorry. I usually just use the little widget, so I just hit the button. Okay, so you boost it, clear the RAM, and okay, that took way longer than it should have. But we're really only using 40% of our RAM, so that's like a gigabyte out of 3. So we've got almost 2 gigabytes of free RAM. So this is really a seamless device. It runs quick. I haven't had any problems with it. The stock apps are great. I use Hangouts and Messenger both. That's what I use for texting, and then I use Hangouts for, you know, just chat messages and video calls and whatnot. But yeah, it really is a great phone. I have very few gripes about it. I'm very glad that I bought it, and I will definitely be buying Nexus devices in the future. Alright, so this has been my Nexus 6 review. Be sure to give it a like and subscribe for more videos. I will be pumping out a lot more videos here in the near future, and especially my 5 things I hate about Android Lollipop video. I don't know if that's what I'm going to call it, but that's really what it is. They need to fix a lot of things, and hopefully they do fix them with Android M, but I'll talk about that in that video, so be sure to stay tuned for that. And let me know in the comments what you do like or don't like about this phone, anything that I missed or should have added. Yeah, so let me know. And by the way, I didn't mention this. This background here is made by Justin Maller. He has an app out. It's called Facets. Got a ton of crazy backgrounds, some really amazing artwork. It's more than one for every day of the year, and totally worth the $1 in my opinion. Anyway, I'll link that down in the description if you're interested. And yeah, again, give it a thumbs up. That goes a long way. And stay average. It's the new awesome. See y'all in the next one.